Hi Gemini, welcome to your November reading. So we start the month off with November 1st, the 11-1 portal. It's also a new moon happening in sidereal Libra. That's going to be followed by our full moon, our second full moon in Aries on November 15th. And we also have the 11-11 portal in there as well. So, I had two cards fall. Actually three. So we have the Page of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and the Judgment card, renewal, cord cutting, rebirth. It looks like even in this Ten of Wands, like there's a phoenix rising up out of this ash. Same with the message of renewal. So, and you're an air sign, so the Page of Swords is a new you, a younger, curious you. Maybe you're looking into studying or expanding your mind in a new direction, putting an end to an old thought pattern or belief structure. So let's see, two more cards, please, for Gemini. And underneath the deck, the Chariot. All right, so that is Cancer. We have Mars moving through Cancer right now until it's going to retrograde back into your sign. It just finished. So perhaps that time period where Mars was moving through, causing destruction or even motivation, that was inspiring you to move and get active and take action and go. That has continued and will continue as Mars transits into Cancer and back into your sign, and then finally leaves Cancer in June of 2025. So this is this whole window is going to be a transformative time for you. Five of Coins, all right, going from needing assistance to providing assistance, and then we have Death. Scorpio season is coming upon us quickly. We're already there in tropical timing, but in sidereal it'll be closer to November 20th, so right after that full moon. All right, let's see, renewal and death. Five of Coins. It looks like the end of poverty, of our poverty mindset, like I mentioned, a way of thinking, or the end of ignorance about a certain subject or a way that you worked or earned money. You're moving on from that, reinventing yourself. Let's get some astrology cards to expand upon this. Where's Gemini headed? Okay. Sagittarius. Okay, right after Scorpio is Sagittarius, a long-distance travel. That is also higher learning. So some of you could be going back to school or just expanding your mind in a new direction. And your element air, open-mindedness, objectivity, and learning. And then House 11 Aquarius, another air sign. So maybe you are focused more on bringing change to the people, service to the collective. And we have Libra, more air. We have the Libra new moon on the 1st to start the month. So this could be the first day of the month. You are putting out applications for school or you're applying to new jobs. There's something that's coming through this portal of the new moon in Libra. What support are we getting from our angels and ancestors in this journey? A lot of communication, phone calls, emails. We do have Mercury retrograde later this month. I forgot to mention that in the other readings, but November 25th. So we could be revisiting old plans, finishing things up. Any guidance from our ancestors? We have Traveler. It's again the Sagittarius energy, move in a new direction. It could be a physical relocation or traveling for work or school. And one more, Fire Guardian, ignite your passion. So Sagittarius being a fire sign there, and the heart's on fire in that direction. So I think a lot of you, if you've been confused, like I said, there's an end to that with the renewal card showing up and the Ten of Wands. You're tired of barely, getting by. There's a new way. There's a new route. If something's taken away from you, know that it's a blessing. We have spring. Okay, I did mention Mars moving back and forth between Cancer and Gemini. Through the spring season, it will as well. So this also is leaps and bounds forward. Even though you may have felt buried, not knowing that you were actually a seed and that you're about to explode and grow and expand outward. And we have trader, exchange energy to create abundance. All right. So maybe it's a hobby or a skill, an artistic endeavor. With this new knowledge, whatever you're learning about, you're going to take that and change it into something you can trade for money. All right, so this new skill, perhaps in the spring, is when you'll start to see it mature. Get a Queen to the Moon card for Gemini. All right, gratitude. Yeah, you're thankful for whoever it is that's going to give you a chance. The 23rd of the month could be significant as well. 23 is also the 9th prime, Sagittarius being the 9th house. November, Novum is 9. So then we have release. 2 plus 7 is 9. All right. So that 10 of Wands speaks of releasing as well, and patience. Yeah, so seeds do take a while to grow, so don't be hasty. And 3 and 6 is 9. So we have 3 9s. You might be seeing that as a repetitive number. You could be a life path 9. But something is spiritual completion, or the season of Sagittarius is when you plant this seed, and by the springtime you see it grow. And how about a journey card? Since we have our traveler. And the green corn moon, that is, I think, the first full moon in spring around March, where the corn's not, ready yet. It's just starting to get going. Maybe April. But patience. You can't pick the crop before it's ready, but you're headed in the right direction. You've taken the steps. You've done the work. And look at that portal opening up for the moon to come through. Synchronicity. Okay, I mentioned 9s showing up in your life, and the butterfly, always a symbol of transformation. And we have the unknown. Okay, the star card, that's Aquarius. And we had Aquarius show up here. House 11. Okay, so new friend groups, new associations, maybe getting on LinkedIn, something like that over the internet, technology. More people are going to approach you, say, I want to work with you. I like where you're going. Yeah, they're curious about you. They're looking into your profile. They see a lot of great potential in here as well. So a light in the dark. I think you're a breath of fresh air for the field that you're looking to expand into. See what your alchemy has to say. Okay. Ferrum iron. All right, the ruler of Mars. Mentioned the movement of Mars between your sign and Cancer. Ooh, and that's 22, the master builder number. Iron's very sturdy, strong. Okay, it's called, and magnetic, I forgot. Ferrum iron is magnetism, reliability. Iron is a reliable metal that can withstand great pressure. Over the centuries, we have come to utilize this metal extensively, mixing it with carbon to create steel bridges, highways, and infrastructures that span across the globe. In alchemy, iron is associated with the planet Mars and shares its qualities of being strong, assertive, and potentially warlike. When the iron card appears, there is a call to rely on what is reliable, what truly supports you. What have you already built? Iron dwells at the center of Earth, so when all else feels lost, go inward. There is a deep magnet there that pulls you towards what is steady and true. For the moment, put your words and weapons down and let yourself be held by the structure that is already in place. Perhaps why I put that in front of this release card, and gratitude, being held, hands being held. So you're being supported in your move, in your direction. So don't have fear of falling. Have faith in the bridges that you've built, the relationships you've constructed, and you are solid at the core. You have a true knowing of yourself and what you've been through and what you are building on. All right. In esoteric wisdom traditions, Mars and iron are associated with the gallbladder. It may be time to contemplate what can be broken down and what must remain. So that has to do with the liver and bile and digestion and elimination. So it could be time for a detox or a cleanse, or maybe your iron level is low and that's why you're tired. I'm not a doctor, of course, but leafy greens and red meats can help with that. Watch for planetary pairings between all metals and planet cards. Iron and Mars appearing in one reading indicates a great conflict looms. Okay. I don't see a great conflict here, but I have been talking about Mars. Again, it's a motivation. I think if there is a conflict, it's moving you out of an unfavorable situation that is only stifling your growth and not letting you bloom. Like your seeds aren't going to grow in unfertile soil. So be grateful that you're getting repotted. Speaking of pots and plants and flowers blooming, let's see what the OO Rose Oracle can share with us for Gemini, please. Gemini. Okay, we've got 2. The Holy Grail, stop the endless searching, inner quest. Talks about your iron core. Also, getting to know yourself. If you don't recognize what it is that you've built, give yourself credit. Take time to reflect on that. And the Anointed, answer the call, leadership, empowerment, soul gifts. Again, I feel like that Mars has brought power to your life. And then underneath, Morning Dew, clarity, a fresh start, positive outlook. Absolutely, that's the renewal. That's the rebirth in the Judgment card. Some magic cards for you. Ooh. The elements. Elements of fire, air, earth, and water contribute to create powerful protective boundaries, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. All right. And then we have achievement, win the award, accolade, or contract. So getting accepted and being grateful for being accepted into this new path. Insight opens a third eye to strengthen intuition. And water, work with the element of water for healing, purification, and refinement. We talked about the gallbladder and the diet. So maybe that's part of your routine that should be evaluated. We also have a couple that fell. Self-confidence, strong belief, and a sense of worth. And there's the direction wheel showing up as well. Your element showing up for a second time, air. Work with the element of air to cut through the core of a situation and see the truth. Okay. I'm going to get a rune for you now. Okay. Let's see what fell here. All right, so we got a rune that I'm not familiar with yet, but this is number 10, Nodhies, meaning need. So it also looks like a Christian cross or faith. It doesn't mean it has to be your religion. But we talked about the number 10, right? The 10 of Wands. There's a burden that needs to be released. There's a 5 of Wands, a feeling of desperation, of want, of being at the end of a road that you can no longer mine here. You know, the mine is empty. So necessity, it's a rune forcing fate from need. And here the picture in the book shows the 3 fates weaving. Right, so the description is the thesis and antithesis, whose resistance to each other shapes the fate of the world. It is both trouble and deliverance. It is the friction that produces the need fire, a powerful rune for protection. The action implied by Nodhies may be used to counter the effects of fate. Because of this connection, it is a rune of the Norns. All right, I'm going to butcher a lot of this Norse mythology, but it looks important. Urda, the earth goddess, bore Wotan, Odin, 3 daughters, the Norns, who dwell by the well of Urd, what has been the sacred spring of fate. Whatever their origin, in the Eddas they are called Urd, Verdandi, what is becoming, and Skuld, what shall be. One of their tasks is to preserve the tree of life by watering it from the springs and whitening its bark with clay. This keeps it growing even while various creatures try to destroy it. The Norns seem to have fulfilled the same function as the Roman Celtic Matronae or the Parsi in Roman theology, with particular influence on the fates of the newborn, and sometimes 3 places were laid for them at the table. There are stories in which they give life gifts like the good fairies. So we have water show up. We had the spring show up. So it's a source, right? A source of life that feeds the tree of knowledge. And with the 3 fates here, say something has been laid out for you, but this is you refusing to follow that fate. This is Mars rules the tower too. It's destruction. And we're bringing down one timeline in favor of a new one. Okay, one way to deal with necessity is to use it to identify our own deepest needs and purposes, to find out who we really are. Those who succeed in life are those who have learned how to separate their life work out from all other possibilities, to focus their energies, and to work with the natural constraints and structures of the medium they choose. There can be no action without reaction, and without something to push against, one goes nowhere. The birth gifts of the Norns are those inner necessities that will give shape to our lives. So the gratitude card, again, coming up, being grateful for the struggle, because it forces us out of this pattern or this self-perceived fate. Nadis can be used to give strength to meet and overcome trials, to confront word, and to turn a bow drill of Urdur until fate is changed. It can help one deal with stress and summon up the adrenaline rush needed to confront disaster. It's a rune of the inner stress that can drive an individual of greatness or destroy him. In its negative, it can cause compulsive behavior and obsession. Some of the images associated with the rune are the spindle and the fire drill, which kindles the need fire. It can also be interpreted as a double sword stroke of protection. In a reading, the rune can indicate problems that weigh on the spirit, frustrations, blocks, but also constraints that can become helpful if properly used. The problem may be an opportunity for change and growth if properly approached. The need may also be for action, and that's where Mars and the Chariot come in. Mars in Cancer. It's a change rune, an omen of good, the necessity for transformation. So I mentioned coming to the end of a road in one way of living. Indicates delay, constraint, affliction, lack, chronic problems. There's a need for patience and endurance and perhaps voluntary limitation of obligations, a learning situation. For Peterson, it is need, constraint, a stumbling block, a need for temperance. So we had patience show up here in the green corn moon, and that's often the title of the temperance card. Magically, Gunderson feels that it's a rune of banishing and cleansing by fire, counterspells, and sealing. In addition, it can be used to imbue other spells with the force of necessity, a runic equivalent of as I will, so mote it be. When doing rune readings or other divination, it should be drawn on the forehead or over the runes to strengthen their link with the forces of destiny. Okay, so it's a rune of necessity to change a pattern, a destructive pattern. Okay, one that has brought fatigue or poverty. So, but we started this, remember, you as a reborn page, eager and thirsty to go in a new direction. So let's see what our angels can give us. Truth, yeah, truth is hard to hear, but it also sets you free. And courage, having the courage to follow through. And okay, well, I think that's all I have for you today, Gemini. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I wish you the best on your new journey. Take care and have a wonderful November. Bye.